there is another massive story that broke. Days after United States panel raised the issue of human rights in Kashmir, today a brave Hindu Kashmiri activist, Sunanda Vashisht, deposed before the congressional panel in Washington, D.C. and broke her silence on how ISIS-type torture and brutality was committed in the valley 30 years ago, even before the West was aware of it. She lists out crimes that were committed against Hindus and claimed that a deliberate attempt was made to propagate a one-sided narrative to cover up a genocide. She has exposed the Lutyens' duplicity that refuses to recognize any other side of the coin, viewers. Listen to a woman scarred by being uprooted from home, still awaiting her rights to be restored. Listen to her. Listen to what she said.
My father is a Kashmiri Hindu, my mother is a Kashmiri Hindu, I am a Kashmiri Hindu, and our home and lives in Kashmir were destroyed by radical Islamic terrorism. As I begin to speak, I am choked. As I begin to speak, I'm choked by the thoughts of those voices I represent here, because their voices were extinguished in the most brutal fashion. I am a member of the minority Hindu community from Kashmir, victim of the worst ethnic cleansing witnessed in independent India. I speak here today because I am a survivor. We have seen ISIS level of horror and brutality in Kashmir 30 years before the West was even introduced to the brutalities of radical Islamic terror. I'm glad these hearings are happening today, because when my family and I lost our homes, our livelihood, and our way of life, the world remained silent. Where were the advocates of human rights when my rights were taken away? Where were they on the night of 19th January 1990, when there were voices blaring from all mosques in Kashmir that they wanted Kashmir with Hindu women but without Hindu men? Where were the saviors of humanity when my feeble old grandfather stood with 2 kitchen knives and an old rusted axe, ready to kill my mother and I in order to save us from the much worse fate that awaited us if we landed in the hands of terrorists on the same fateful night? My people were given 3 choices: flee, convert, or die. Around 400,000 Kashmiri Hindus fled right after that night of horror. They said,
viewers, in 7 minutes, that's the only time she got. She put out facts, and she's with us tonight on this show. Sunanda Vashisht, the nation salutes you. I will be coming out to you in just a few moments. I want to bring in Sabha Naqvi, senior journalist. Sabha Naqvi, have a group of activists, ideologues, intellectuals, politicians been complicit in pushing a one-sided narrative on Kashmir that ignores the travesty and the horrors that have been committed by Islamist hate also? Why don't we hear more of it? Why has it taken Sunanda Vashisht to go to DC?
Right.
Why are the doors of Delhi's
a couple of things.
NGOs shut to her?
A couple of things. I will say this very clearly. I have the great, we will all people, we all want reconciliation in the world, and we will have the greatest empathy for any narrative of pain, loss, anguish. But for you to presume that the people who are currently locked up in the valley, including 3 elected chief ministers, including the fact that many more Muslims have died in the valley due to terrorism, is also highly presumptuous. I'm sorry. There is no,
if they were so concerned, let me bring in Sunanda Vashisht. If they were so concerned, if these valley politicians, Omar Abdullah, I'm sure you're talking about Farooq Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti, was so concerned about justice and their heart was bleeding, why hasn't anyone been punished in these?
If you support this,
in these 30 years.
Rahul, let me finish, then I'll be done. No, let me finish. If you support somebody going outside India, then there will be many testimonies which you have spoken about, people speaking against India. You cannot select the narratives that people take to
You
foreign
see, ma'am,
countries and reveal
you see,
them.
ma'am,
No,
I want to
you
say
cannot
something,
select
Sabah
it on your
Naqvi.
TV show.
Only those
I'm
people,
sorry.
because of their
You
great
cannot select the
contacts
narrative.
and because
Are
of
you
funding,
saying that those
managed
who
to
have
go
been hit
abroad
by
and
pellets in
sell an
Kashmir
anti-India
don't have a
narrative. And that's the problem. Today you have someone who is
Are you
challenging that narrative, standing up.
Okay.
In fact, in the U.S.
How is this?
House,
That's a
in the
Are
U.S.
you
House
saying-
of Representatives,
I'm sorry.
and we can't bring ourselves
So you
tonight
are saying any
to accept
narrative that critiques
there has been a
actions of
one-sided
India?
narrative. I
I'm
want to bring
sorry.
in Sunanda Vashisht. Let me bring her
I'm
in.
very sympathetic to her.
Oh yes, I
I'm
can
very
see that.
sympathetic
But
to
you're
her.
drawing
But you cannot have
as
separate
Mr. Pandit
standards.
says,
Yes.
a moral
You can't have
equivalence
separate
already.
standards.
Oh, don't think that people are not concerned. If they were so concerned,
No, Mr.
where were
Pandit
the
only
marches?
has one
Where
point
was
of
the
view.
candlelights?
Mr.
Where were the
Pandit has
parades?
only one
Where
point
was
of
the
view.
no? Where was
I
the
know Mr.
punishment?
Pandit, I know his
30
views.
years. 30 years. Sunanda Vashisht, tell me.
The punishment is now.
Tell me.
The punishment is now. What has happened
Not
to
just
Muslims all over India, my
punishment,
dear
Rahul.
Don't be
Thank you first of
mischievous.
all for having me.
You know?
After Article
some shame.
370, forget about punishment. I just want to bring your attention to one point, and I will take 30 seconds. After Article 370 was abrogated, forget about punishment. We were victim shamed. We were told that there is some kind of revenge narrative going on. We were made responsible for Article 370's abrogation just because a few of us were celebrating it. What were we celebrating? We were celebrating full citizenship to land of India. And yet, we were victim shamed. This is just August 5 I'm talking about. I am not even talking about the entire 30 years of victim shaming. I am talking about just what happened on August 5. All these people, they wrote editorials after editorials saying that we have been weaponized. I want to know who has weaponized us. We have not been weaponized at all. Our hate is, it is, so this
I'll
is
tell
what
you who's being
bothers me.
weaponized. This is breaking news coming in. Srinjoy Chaudhary, our national affairs editor, has broken this story. Let me tell you, today, viewers, 3, not 1, but 3 US congressmen have said that rights activists belonging to a particular lobby, and let's break this. This is a big breaking development, viewers. Sunanda words have been vindicated today. Kashmir's lobby has been totally exposed. Lens on a $10 million Islamist terror fund has been focused by US congressmen who are calling upon the Trump administration to make a probe into what? Funds have been routed through rights groups. Yes, rights groups. Innocuous groups are working as terror fronts in the valley. I am not saying this. These are US congressmen, and they have identified and have begun to name the organizations. They go there and they pretend to be rights activists, viewers, and they are collecting money from innocent, fooled and befooled US citizens. $10 million have been routed into the Kashmir to buy weapons to fight India, to carry out a form of naked bigotry. These startling details are only on Times Now, viewers, and I want to go across to Srinjoy Chaudhary. Srinjoy, these organizations, they have been described as innocuous ones, but they are terror fronts.
Absolutely. Now, if you hear of HHRD and ICNA, you will not really, they just sound so innocuous. And this is what the congressmen themselves say. They are all innocuous sounding Pakistani supported organizations. And yet, what kind of links do they have, Rahul?
And
they have links with
and
the
who is part of these
Lashkar-e-Toiba.
organizations? They could be Indians who are part of the diaspora. They could be Indians who are working in the so-called NGO sector. Who knows? We need to get to the bottom of this. The Trump administration has been asked to investigate. I want to bring in Mr. Malviya. Mr. Malviya, is the Indian government going to formally approach now the US government and seek a report on this, sir?
Well, Rahul, I'm quite sure that the government will do as details trickle in. But let me make something very clear. People like Sabah Naqvi are part of the problem, who have for so far whitewashed this Islamic jihad that played out in the valley. And voices such as Sunanda's and those who suffered there were never brought to the fore. I don't know if anybody in this country ever heard of the woman who was raped several times before she was sawed on a mechanical sawmill. The incident that Sunanda spoke about today, and there are several horrific stories like this. There are people who are responsible for this, and the Indian state knew about it. People like Yasin Malik and Bitta Karate were behind it, and it was the Congress government who was meeting.
Viewers, let me tell you,
people like Yasin Malik, Dr. Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister.
these
would call
stories
him
are
to
now
Delhi
coming
and
out.
meet him.
They are getting an
That was
international
part of the
podium
problem.
thanks to the
That
efforts
has
of
changed.
brave Indians like Sunanda Vashisht, who are going to be victim shamed, as she says, and have already been. There is Mr. Pandit, who also went to the United States to depose. It is individuals like these who are balancing the narrative out there. There can only be reconciliation when there is truth. Remember, these two words go hand in hand. The time has come for the real truth, the absolute truth, to emerge. We leave it at that. Navika Kumar on the News Hour. Don't go away.